Ellen Wales, Woodbridge Avenue. W-A-L-E-S, Wales, like the royal family in England. On the audit, is that all that's done? You certify the review and that's the end?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
On the audit, 307, resolution certifying review of the general comments and recommendations. And that's the end. Once that's done, there's no other action that the council does?
That's correct.
Is there anybody committee that reviews the recommendations and sees to implementing them?
Council President, the audit is provided. It's,
who's chairing? I mean,
Council President.
Oh.
The business administrator takes that very seriously and takes those recommendations, works with the Chief Financial Officer and Director of Finance to implement those so that they become almost non-existent or minimized for the next year. That's the goal.
Okay. On, I didn't watch all of it Monday night. On 290, what's the bus for?
Mr. President, it's a new bus for the seniors.
Is that replacing or an additional one?
It's to replace an older bus, much older bus.
Is that older bus still going to be in service, or it's going to be auctioned, or what?
We're going to try to retire that bus and auction it off.
Okay. I saw an extensive list for a bicycle auction. I don't know when it was, but it had the ID numbers and everything on it. And I don't know if we keep vehicle identification numbers on some of these vehicles. On the 297, what's the refund? The affordable housing refund?
Council President, the Baptist Church paid to the Construction Code Department, I believe it was $70,000. They are an exempt entity, and they should not have paid that money. It's coming back to them. I was asked my opinion after the fact. I told them that it was not required to be paid, and it's being refunded.
Well, what did they get for it?
Well, if they were not exempt, they're required to pay into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund an amount paid equal to 2%, if I'm not mistaken, 2% of the equalized assessed value of the improvement. It goes into our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and it's used to defray costs to provide affordable housing under COA.
Okay, I'll have to think about that one. On the engineering inspection fees, why would there be refunds on inspection fees? There's several of them. Engineering inspection fee refund. Under what circumstances, Council President, do we refund inspection fees?
Mr. Cancro or Mr. Hobart?
I can answer that. Council President, there are times when inspection fees, when you pay, you're required to pay, I believe, 5% under the municipal land use law of the overall project construction estimate as an inspection fee. If the township has only incurred a certain amount, then the balance after the project has CO'd goes back to the developer.
Okay. 305, the resolution, the Secure Our Schools grant, is this grant, does this grant have to go through the municipality like some do rather than the school board doing it on their own? Is there a legal requirement that this grant was offered only to municipalities or to the township?
Council President, it's a grant that we're going to work in cooperation with several schools, and the money, we are an applicant, and we will receive the money and then work closely with the Board of Education.
That's not my question. When you go to the county for funds, the county will not accept except through the municipality. Like if a group wants to do something, the municipality has to question it. My question is why this grant was just not done by the Board of Education if it wasn't required that it was only available through the municipal government.
Because we're the lead agency on the grant.
I didn't understand what he said.
We are the lead agency on the grant. We're going to apply, receive the grant.
The lead agency on the
grant. We're actually applying for the grant
Why couldn't they?
because we're the lead agency.
I mean, why do you have to be the lead agency is my question.
Because we're going to apply for the money, receive the money, and work cooperatively with the Board of Education.
Could the board have done it on their own?
I believe the municipality has to be the lead agency.
Council President, I think I can answer it
Okay.
in a different way.
Good.
The funding is actually through the U.S. Department of Justice, and it's the police department, the Division of Police, that makes the application. They work in conjunction with the schools to make them safe. So they are the collaborative agency with the Department of Justice.
Oh, okay. Then it has to go through.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that. It should have been, answer could have been simpler. I would have accepted that right away. Okay.
Anyone else on the consent agenda? Ms. Tousman?
One of the questions that I did not ask that I still want to ask is, how come this audit was so late? How come this audit was so late?
Mr. Laird?
Anybody want to try it, an answer on that one,
Council
please?
President, it's my understanding that Mr. Morrison was waiting for some correspondence that was needed to complete the audit. He received the correspondence late, and that's why it was a little late.
Very late, okay. The other questions that I have are, we're still violating our 48-hour rule. That's been around for a long, long time. And most people don't relate big sums to it. But basically, we have a lot of money to deposit. And 48 hours is a lot of interest. And I would hope that the practice stops. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was I was glad to see that there was a solution offered, but I was a little shocked about the $1 million or whatever it was that we had a problem with when we privatized our water company. They said that you would have to take it out into two increments, I believe of $400,000 each. That doesn't come to $1 million. The other thing I was concerned about are the tax appeals. Never Land. We don't know how many or how much, and it's very, very iffy. And that's a lot of cash, and very expensive attorneys are involved in it, and I worry about that, and about the money coming out of our budget on it. And last but not least is the foreclosure list. I noticed it wasn't included. There were some numbers floating around about liens. But last year, we had 6 full pages of foreclosures. And with all the problems that everybody's having with subprime and with mortgages, I would think we would have an even bigger list this time around. So I was wondering when I could look forward to having the foreclosures published, and that should have been possibly at least honorably mentioned in here. So could somebody answer my question on that one?
Council President, it's not foreclosures, it's the sale of tax liens.
Yes.
It will happen on June 26th, and there'll be less than last year.
Well, that would be very good, Mr. Franco. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else on the resolutions?
Move to close the public portion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything polled?